Seniors, we've been talking about 125 years at the Williams School. At this point, probably more than you would have liked. And while to some, 125 may be just a number, our culture does like to celebrate historic years such as these. 125 in an anniversary term in Latin translates to quasquicentennial, meaning a century and a quarter. A word our founder and namesake, Harriet Peck Williams, may have used in her day. She'd be impressed that we're using this term in today's ceremony, knowing that Latin and the classics have been an important part of our curriculum since our inception. The history geek in me also checked in to see that 125 years ago, this past December, Mr. James Naismith invented the game of basketball, and 18 students from the tiny Springfield College were the first to play the sport in the game. Also that year in 1891, a fellow by the name of Mr. Thomas Edison patented the electronic transmission of signals, otherwise known as radio. And I'm certainly grateful for this today as I speak into a microphone, allowing the signal to be broadcast to you. But enough of general history, let's talk specifically about our Williams and what its first headmaster, Mr. Colin Buell, did as a leader and visionary. My sense is that most do not know that Colin Buell is directly responsible for us being able to celebrate our commencement on the campus of Connecticut College this afternoon. He is in many ways a dual cornerstone of Williams and Connecticut College. And since we are celebrating our history today, I wish to commemorate him along with the class of 2016. The first headmaster of WMI, Colin Sherman Buell, was an educator, civic leader, and key figure in the founding of Connecticut College for Women. Born in Killingworth on January 3rd of 1861, he graduated from Yale in 1885 and taught at the Lackawanna School in Scranton, Pennsylvania, before ill health forced him home to Connecticut a year later. He then studied law before returning to teaching in 1887, and in 1888, Buell was hired as the first assistant at the Buckley School, the soon-to-be brother school of WMI in New London. He remained there until 1891 when he was elected first principal here at WMI, the then newly established School for Girls. As the Williams headmaster, Mr. Buell recognized his role as a leader and used it to effect change. It was at WMI when Buell began his efforts to establish a college, an institute of higher learning for women in New London. At WMI's third commencement in 1894, at a ceremony very similar to this one, he spoke of the necessity of a women's college for Connecticut, with hopes that the citizens of New London would rally around the cause. When his plan to expand our very own WMI into a women's college fell through, Buell turned his attention to prominent civic leaders, but these efforts were ultimately rejected as too costly. In 1910, Buell was 19th year as headmaster of WMI. He wrote to Elizabeth Wright and the Hartford College Club of Wesleyan, who were leading their own campaign for a women's college in Connecticut, in direct response to Wesleyan's decision to stop admitting women to the university 1 year earlier. Keep in mind, the Wesleyan decision left the state of Connecticut without any collegiate institution open to women, whereas neighboring Massachusetts had 4. Wright and Buell combined efforts, and by 1911, they had secured the funding to establish the new college, thanks in large part to a frenzied campaign by the citizens of New London, who raised $135,000 and received a $1 million bequest by financier and railroad tycoon Morton Plant. Again, we see the amazing parallels between the founding of both Williams and Connecticut College. So during his headship of WMI, he was elected trustee of Connecticut College for Women and served in a number of governance roles at Con during his 47 years. Repeat that. 47 years as headmaster until his death in 1938. What a leader. So much of what Mr. Buell proposed in his vision exists on our shared campuses today. So why am I recounting this history to you, seniors? As I researched Mr. Buell, I couldn't help but consider some of the leadership traits he used to make such a massive impact on secondary and higher education in this region, and I draw comparisons to how these same values have helped you, seniors, develop into similar leaders of today and tomorrow. Those very traits you learned here at Williams, instilled by teachers, coaches, administrators who spent countless hours pushing, encouraging, and hoping for you in ways or perhaps you never thought possible. Why is that? Because qualities of leadership are inherently learned at Williams. We saw it already with Charlie. and we learn through the multitude of opportunities you can provide, empowering you to lead and affect others in a positive way. I came across this quote as I researched Mr. Buell, and I think it's appropriate for your class. Leadership is being bold enough to have vision and humble enough to recognize that achievement takes the efforts of many people. People who are most fulfilled when they share their gifts and talents, and leaders create that culture, serve that greater good, and let others soar. So take this advice and run with it. I'm sure you'd agree that there may have been times this year and last that some of us may have questioned your actions, yet your capability of leading and your capacity to think beyond yourselves. Yet I'm fully confident from what I've witnessed that you can lead in similar ways of Mr. Buell as you move beyond those doors in about 20-25 minutes. Hundreds of books have been written about your leadership. Many acknowledge that being a leader isn't an identity, but rather a set of actions. It's not someone you are, it's something you do. The notion that you don't have to be officially empowered to lead has allowed more people to think of themselves as leaders. I've seen shining examples of what you did, seniors, as individuals and as a class, and for this, you ought to be incredibly proud. As leaders, seniors, here are some of the examples of your leadership that are now a part of who we are as a school. The Turning Grease into Fuel program, our return of the school store, a first ever admissions video solely produced by a member of your class, aquaponics becoming a part of our science curriculum, an outdoor homecoming dance, Senior Day 2016 somehow being kept a secret, and perhaps that might be the most impressive. Not to mention your roles as team captains and officers of our newly rewritten student constitution, which indoctrinated a new form of student government. And I sent your response to my list maybe, oh yeah, that's right, we did do some of those things. So in closing, you're undoubtedly off to do great things in a wide variety of schools and colleges, and I know you will achieve immense success, packed with all the skills and tools a Williams education provides. I will wait with great anticipation to hear wonderful news of countless achievements throughout those lives. And finally, seniors, thank you so much for your daily support in helping me lead Williams. That being said, I don't think I have the strength or support to be here as long as Mr. Buell for 47 years of headship. Furthermore, I believe that there are no more powerful words in our language than thank you. Thank you very much for leaving your indelible mark on me. It's been a pleasure growing with you. I'm proud of you, and congratulations on being our 125th class. You will always be a part of our history. All the best to each and every one of you.